system that we have mentioned.
Yes. Thank you, Eni, for the introduction, and good morning and warm welcome also from my side to our second Network of Interest meeting. So I'm Vural Gursel, coordinator of this EU project called SUSTCERT4BIOBASED. And in this presentation, I would like to give a short recap of what our project is about, and followed by introduction to a specific focus area of our project, which is the development of a joint monitoring system. So SUSTCERT4BIOBASED is short for Sustainability Certification for Biobased Systems. It's a 3-year Horizon Europe project that started in June last year. So we are currently at the halfway of our project. This is for the zero pollution call, coordination and support action, so targeted towards more generating insights for policymakers. The aim of our project is to promote the adoption of effective and robust sustainability certification schemes and eco-labels for industrial biobased systems, supporting their harmonization and showing their critical role to ensure a sustainable circular bioeconomy. So this is the concept of our project, which is divided into several work packages. So the first work package 1, we made a review and analysis of existing schemes and eco-labels for these industrial biobased systems. We had a comprehensive approach where we had a consideration for the different sustainability dimensions of environmental, social, and economic, as well as how the schemes are governed, so these governance aspects. And what are the scope of the schemes that we consider is that they could be targeted towards bio-based products such as RSP, ISCC, Better Biomass, and REDCERT2, or they could be for biological resources such as RTRS for soy, RSPO for palm, bone sucre for sugarcane, and also for schemes such as FSC and PEFC. And also we consider eco-labels that also are applied for bio-based products. And the 3 most prominent ones are Blue Angel, EU Eco-Label, and Nordic Eco-Label. And in another work package, so work package 2, we looked into global trade flows for biological resources as well as bio-based materials. Here we focused on selected 10 value chains from 6 industrial sectors, which consider textile, woodworking, construction, pulp and paper, plastics, and chemicals. And we also looked into extent of the certification of these value chains. And then work package 3 is focused on the monitoring system, which allows assessment of robustness, effectiveness, and comprehensiveness of existing schemes and labels. And first, we look into defining the principles, criteria, and indicators at 3 different levels, which I will explain in further slides. And this is built upon existing benchmarking and guidance documents such as ICO principles and existing tools such as ITC standard maps, FAO's SAFA tool, WWF's CATS tool, etc. So the developed joint monitoring system, we will be testing on existing schemes and labels. And so this will include an evaluation mechanism. And we would also like to develop a roadmap to promote continuous development. And the work package 4 is focused on the cost-benefit assessment. This includes the actual costs and benefits, as well as internalized social and environmental costs and benefits. And thereby, we would like to assess the feasibility of adoption of certification schemes on 3 selected value chains. And we will be using all these information and insights generated in the project to provide recommendations to 4 key target groups: industry, sustainable system actors, policymakers, and rural bioeconomy actors. So in this following slides, I will focus on this specific part of our project, which is on the development of our joint monitoring system. So the reason that it's called a joint monitoring system is that we have decided to work together with our sister projects to join our forces in the development of the monitoring system. So as already presented, we have under the same code 3 projects funded. So besides SUSTCERT4BIOBASED, we have the HARMONITOR and STAR4BBS projects. So the kind of background why we decided to join our forces, it is to reduce confusion, divergence, and mistrust among stakeholders, because if we have developed 3 separate systems, that could have been confusing for the stakeholders. And we also like to streamline stakeholder consultations and reduce fatigue in this way, so that you won't be approached by 3 different sets of projects. And hereby, we also believe that we can develop a more comprehensive tool and also increase the chances of continuous use of this tool after the end of the 3 projects. And we also leverage the possibility to build on each other's knowledge and experience, and thereby subjecting the JMS to a higher level of scrutiny and maximizing the effective use of our resources. So the audience and purpose of this system, so we identified the 2 main targeted audience is the EU policymakers, as well as the sustainable certification scheme and label owners, which we call CSLs. And EU policymakers, providing this JMS as a tool will provide increased transparency regarding the performance of existing CSLs for biobased systems, including an evaluation of their effectiveness and robustness, and provide also understanding of how these schemes can contribute to EU sustainable policies, priorities, and also these can be used as an implementation mechanism to fulfill regulations, so such as a co-regulation instrument. And for the scheme and label owners, it can support and incentivize to improve their systems by showing potential gaps and weaknesses in their content and system characteristics, and can push towards a potential harmonization of them in terms of shared sustainability and governance criteria. Going into the structure of the JMS, we decided to structure it in terms of 3 levels, as you see here, system level, content level, and outcome level. Each of these levels are coordinated by the 3 different projects, where we have also inter-project teams working. So in each of the levels, they are coordinated by one of the projects, but a team of partners from the 3 projects work together in carrying out the development activities. So the system level, it concerns the aspects of robustness, governance, and credibility. So the indicators are developed that concern robustness of verification procedures, management of standard traceability, and these kind of aspects. Content level is focused on the sustainability priorities, where we have considered 4 dimensions: environmental, social, economic, and circularity. We decided to keep circularity as a separate dimension to highlight the potential role of bio-based products in contributing to circular economy. And the outcome level, this is focused on the effectiveness and impact of certification schemes and labels. So these indicators are housed in an Excel-based tool, which will be coupled with the interpretation level that concerns making evaluations and definition of minimum requirements. We will be testing the JMS through different ways, which includes stakeholder engagement, pilot audits, which will provide us with more of a reality check if the requirements of the JMS is applicable in practice. And we will be also testing the JMS on selected certification schemes and labels. And also by this testing, we can provide feedback back to the indicator development to provide, for example, more clarity or further refining of the evaluations. So our SUSTCERT4BIOBASED project is leading the development of the content level, which I will explain in the next slide. So as I mentioned, we have considered dividing into 4 different dimensions. At each dimension, we have defined principles, criteria, and indicators. And here I just provide a high look into what are the different principles considered within each of these dimensions. So for example, in the environmental dimension, we have consideration of climate change, land use aspects, biodiversity, water, soil and air quality, use of chemicals, and energy use. In circularity, we have consideration on circular transitions, circular inflows, which is concerning about renewability of the resources and use of recycled materials, as well as another one on circular design and material cycling, which is about lifetime extension strategies such as durability, reusability, but also about recyclability and material use efficiency, and also responsible waste management. In terms of social aspects, these are categorized into 3 high-level categories as workers, labor, local communities, and consumers and society. Where for workers, we'll look into labor rights and working conditions. Local communities, that has a consideration for property rights, well-being of these communities, community engagement, and aspect of food security for these in the local. And also we have consideration for consumers and society, their well-being impacted by the value chains. In terms of the economic dimension, we have economic viability, which considers productivity and long-term viability, financial risk management, and also fair business practice, which includes consideration for fair competition and integrity of the economic operators. So just to provide a bit of overview of where we are and what are our plans for the JMS, currently we are almost finalizing the development of our draft JMS with the indicators, and we are carrying out interaction with stakeholders to get feedback on this draft JMS, which we will finalize January next year, and performing the different testings that I mentioned on the JMS from almost over a year following the draft JMS development. And our final description of the JMS will be in the form of a joint deliverable, which will be available at the end of our projects in May 2025. This has also been mentioned previously, but I would like to also say again that we will have our joint co-creation event next Monday, where we will dive into these different levels of JMS, so system level, content level, and outcome level, as well as give an overview of the evaluation structure on this. The targeted audiences of more scheme and label owners, as well as expert on sustainability of bio-based products. So this was all from my side. Thank you for your attention, and I'll be happy to answer your questions.